Okay, let's double check that this stream is live. And I think it is. So hello everyone who has tuned in to this broadcast. This is our second session, our live streamed consultancy session. The previous one was quite a new experience for us, but it went well. The feedbacks were good. They thought it was surprisingly well run for for the first one, so that's good news. In this session, we are with Mirjana, John, and Ansi, and I'll switch to the screen now so you can see them. I'll do a brief introduction, and then I'll tune out so you can focus on the conversation with them. And if you have any questions, feel free to have them ask them in the chat below. So this is planned for 40 minutes. That's how long we plan to do that for. And if you think this content is valuable for you or it would be valuable for others, the way YouTube algorithms work is that if you like it, it's seen by others. If you share it, it's even seen by more people. If you comment, that's a positive as well. So this is our way of voting which content is valuable and should get more eyes. So if you think this is valuable, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. So this is seen by more other people, and it motivates us to do more as well, to be honest. And with that in mind, I'll jump into the introductions and then leave them up to you. So today's business owner is Mirjana. She's the founder of Hangair Global. It's a London-based tech startup, health tech startup that is focusing on smart furniture that goes alongside with a wellness app. So I'll let her detail that, but I think it's Peloton style, but focusing on a different type of a problem, more in the health and wellness space. She herself is, we've just had a chance to meet quickly. She herself is a senior figure with an impressive track record and serious experience in marketing. But her core belief and approach is that it's just about growth mindset, and more feedback is always good. So we are here to learn from each other, get different insights, different perspectives. So I'm looking forward to the chat that's going to go on between Ansi, John, and Mirjana. So our first consultant today is Ansi Rona. And her expertise is in consumer behavior and experience design. She is also a customer experience advocate, and what she does is interesting because it's at the heart of human and digital interaction. So I think there might be something there. And our second consultant is John Fuggles, who, if you have watched the previous episode, you know and love, who is a creative problem solver and a business growth strategist. I can attest to the fact that he's a creative problem solver, having been working with him some time. So those are the introductions. That's the hard part of my job. So now I get to sit back, sip my tea, and enjoy you have a chat, and just double check if everything is running smoothly. So it's over to you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
So Mirjana, just to kick off, one thing, as he said, he explained it's there's kind of two elements to this. There's some hardware, some furniture, and then there's some application as well.
Yes.
Just let's put that into context.
Yes, so he said it well. So I'll give a little bit of background of the whole Hangair, because I'm conscious that we are very limited on social media and explanations exactly why and what we are doing it. There is a reason for that. There is IP behind that we had to sort first, and also development of hardware with the software takes a little bit longer. So in order to have everything right first and then go to live explanations who we really are, that's the reason why it's very limited. So I'll just say a little bit about Hangair, how Hangair actually started. And as Ozzy said, I come from a corporate background in marketing and business turnaround, especially specialized in SMEs and SMEs business turnaround. So I've been traveling all my life, all over the place, all over the world, from one side of the globe to another. And especially last 4 years of my corporate journey was very hard because being constantly jet lagged, sleep deprived, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get the first flight wherever I go. You know, at the beginning of the week, I would be in Far East, and then end of the week, I would end up in Argentina or similar. So, and you're constantly running on that adrenaline, and you're fine, you're leading lifestyle that is healthy, and you do swimming and exercising, but actually it doesn't really help much if you're continuously doing over and over and over again. And then you hit the wall, and that's what happened to me. So I experienced terrible burnout and mental health, depression. And for someone who's very positive, to end up in that situation was totally new. So what's going on really with me? My body was in constant spasm because you're either sitting all the time in uncomfortable seats. Doesn't matter if you're on a business in a business class or not. It's still an uncomfortable seat. It's still a tin that you're surrounded with some suppressed air, and you're eating in odd times, etc. And then I started understanding, and thinking how we can put something out there that helps people like me, first of all, because I'm really falling into pieces and I don't know what to do. And I started looking into different products out there. So there were many solutions, but all of them were addressing one specific problem that I was facing. And I had many, and they were all interconnected, and everything was due to lifestyle which didn't really have proper pattern and routine. It was just all over the place. And so I was in Italy with my friends, just talking about different interesting things that we saw in the last few months. And then there was a picture from Copenhagen Museum showing how people used to sleep in 18th century, which was when they were traveling between the cities. And it was in very unique position. And I thought, if I can bring this into nowadays terms, in this lifestyle that I have, as many others, plus add technology to it, wow, this would solve my problem. And then I was thinking about Alexander technique, which I use in my swimming. How can we implement some elements of Alexander technique, which is all about conscious understanding and doing everything we do with the full consciousness. So we think about movements that we make, we think about body posture, we think about connection, mind and body, and how we can bring some of the postures from Alexander technique into this product that I would like to develop. And that's how a journey started. And then we did lots of research. I had some amazing help from amazing people, and that's how we actually started building many different designs, and finally got to the final one after involving 3 different universities as well. One thing that I have to say here, being from strong marketing, with the strong marketing background, there are 2 different stories that you can send out there to the world. One is just get more customers and now, and then don't care about what's going to happen later. And there is the other one, which is very important for me because it aligns with my values, which is investigate, research first, find out if that really is what you're saying that it is, and then stand behind what you're saying. So, and be really truthful in what you're doing. And for that reason, science for me was very big key, because we are playing with body and mind. So what is out there that we can put together in what we are doing in order to really tick all these boxes for people like myself who are going through these problems. So 3 universities joined us, and we also became part of London South Bank University Simulated Digital Health Accelerator Program, which is helping us as well to pull through many different things. And again, to go back to this conversation, why I'm here, I am someone, whoever knows me, I am someone who's very agile, and I always go and ask for questions, and I don't know everything like everyone. So I'm here to learn more from you.
So the stuff you've been talking about, I'm taking a very simplistic approach. The stuff you've been talking about is, if you like, hardware, right? It's all about how you the physical shape you take when you relax, if I can put it that way.
Yes.
I got two questions. Is what the target market is? Is it actually putting it in airports, or is it putting it in people's homes? And the other thing is trying to understand what the connection with is in terms of the application, what the application is going to deliver. I mean, conscious you mentioned IP, so I don't want to get into too much detail around all that, but just trying to understand what the combination of the two are and what the market target is.
Of course, yeah. So in terms of as we discussed about hardware, the application is a wellness app which is helping people to decompress or provide you with a specific type of power naps for your own needs. So it's a real-time biofeedback that we are taking from the device where you put yourself in, and because of sensors which are integrated into the device, we then have algorithms that read all this information about you, about BMI and medical data, and then we translate that into meaningful information, which then recommends what exactly you need in order to decompress or sleep or whatever you may choose to do, because some of us will not want to sleep. We are at high level stress, and yes, the device actually or incliner helps you to relax your body, but then your mind is just going all the time crazy and you need to calm that down. So we are providing different programs which actually can help you to calm down depending on your personal needs. So that's the wellness app that comes in. In terms of target markets, so we are targeting, first of all, medical. So patients for COVID, patients with COVID, patients with lung disease because of specific posture that we are proposing in our incliner. And it's been proven for many decades about benefits of that specific posture for people who have cystic fibrosis and COPD, and that's one element of it, plus back pain, which again, that specific posture releases instantly back pain, and there is microgravity to it as well.
Sure.
And then the other side is medical staff for prevention from burnout and also decompression. The second market is travel and business, so corporate offices, co-working spaces, airports, hotels, etc. And then the last but not the least is sports. So for athletes, professional athletes, as well as people who are there to, they're big lovers of sport and have those injuries. Yeah.
Okay, so, but I'm still confused as to where it's going to be installed. I mean, am I going to buy one and have it in my lounge?
Yes, so for example, hospitals will be buying it for their patients as well as for their staff.
Right.
Then airports will be buying it for business lounges. And also airliners will be buying it for people who are their crews who are traveling around the world, and they have short breaks at the airports in the back in their, let's say, offices where they can also decompress. In corporate offices, it will be for in those meditational rooms, so people who want a short break or just to break between huge tasks, and then they didn't sleep last night well, for example. They want they need these 15 minutes, precious 15 minutes, to recover their energy and go back into flow. So they will have access to those meditational rooms and Hangair within them. And for sports, it will be for sports clubs. So for example, sports teams are investing so much money into any kind of device that will help elevate performance to the next level and help people to relax and actually prepare better for the next whatever that is. So yeah, does that clearer now? Or
So it is to be a commercial product, right?
B2B, yeah.
B2B. Did you have your product market fit arrangement? Is there a validation from the market about your product?
Yes, so we have part of it, and we are still looking for new. So I'll explain a little bit about the journey so far. So we developed first prototype last year. And that was the moment when we wanted to test different with different users. First of all, if that notion that I have actually is going to work. So throughout this testing, we understood where the application actually can happen. And also we understood what different businesses are facing as a problem and what they would like to improve. And the main one is obviously productivity. The main one is wellness at work, whatever that is. And so this is something that we already established during this testing phase of 4 months through, I think it was 60 plus people that we tested this with. So this was smaller scale testing. Now, because it's physical product, so majority, let's say 60% is down to physical product and then 40% is down to the app. But physical product is the key here. And testing needs to be done first with MVP that we're building right now, in order then to go and do proper bulletproof validation in different areas that I just said. So we will be testing it at hospitals. So NHS is one of them, obviously in UK, NHS hospitals, then some corporate offices. So we are talking with a few corporations and big tech businesses here in the UK. We are talking with one airline in Middle East, sorry, in Asia. We are talking with one airport in Middle East, or rather 2 airports in Middle East, and we are talking with one airport in the America for their business lounges. So discussions are to happen once MVP is fully ready for trials on that scale.
Good news.
What's sorry?
Good news for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're developing it then as a hardware-only launch.
So this will be also having a very basic app to start with, just to have that customer journey, to understand customer journey. We already developed app mockup, which actually incorporates all different elements of the ecosystem. So it's not only power naps, but also breath work. It's also meditation and different plugins to other apps that we may collaborate with.
That was one of the things I was going to suggest. Why develop your own apps when they all exist, and you could just nest them inside your own, which
it will be both.
Solution. Okay.
It will be both. There is element that is not there yet that we are developing, and there are elements that why do we have to invent hot water where it's already there and someone else is already doing amazing jobs. So that's what we are looking to plug in.
So, but you're still at the proving stage in terms of the capability, and you've got the academic background and support and proof points, but you haven't got industry use proof points yet.
Yes. However, we have first pre-order letter of intent, which is worth 1.3 million, which is based on what we actually have so far, and based on MVP is going to work as they expect it to work, as we agreed on the requirements. So it does prove that people are in big need, and this market is something that I never thought of actually whilst we were going through all this understanding where we actually place ourselves and where this product will be the most used. It turns out whoever we speak with, and we do speak for the last 2 years with many different companies, organizations, institutions, the constant answer is, I want one, I want few, I want for my offices, I want for my staff, I want for myself at home. When we show, I mean, we do all due respect to the audience, we are not ready to show it yet to the wider audience, but when we do show to individuals, it's, aha, I get it, this is amazing, I want one.
So what's the challenge right now then? This is Startups for London putting consultants and clients together to say, okay, how can we help you? Seems like you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
So how can we help you?
Yeah. So we always look for help, and there is always something to help with. Where that help comes from usually is from just normal conversation and like, let me pick your brain. And sometimes, again, because we have very strong internally, very strong team with amazing background, collectively very strong and long, I would say, background. So within our team, we always go and talk and discuss and bounce off ideas. But also we have very strong support of external mentors and advisors. But we are all, again, very open to see who else can bring some ideas to us. So as I said, we are all agile, and we always, I find that whoever I speak to, I learn from someone. So I think you guys are doing some great job. Where you can help us probably is about, I personally want to understand more about scale up and exit strategy. This is something that it's always in discussion in many different groups, and what's the best planning. And now I always think that it's always good to plan in advance all these strategies so that we know exactly what steps we take along the line, so that we don't end up in that moment where, oh, I didn't think about that, and actually now that is a problem. So with you, obviously, you, I guess, had lots of very successful exits throughout different startups within your ecosystem. So I would be very happy to hear some of similar cases if you had, and what was their highlight and how they managed these exits.
Sure. So it's interesting you say you haven't got a scale up and exit strategy, which is worrying because...
No. We have it, but I would like always to hear. It's all about tuning what you already have.
Okay, what is your founding strategy here? How will you found your product?
Yeah, so funding is something that we are doing through angel investors for now. So I've been investing my money personally, my personal money until now. And we also have few investors. One of them is part of our team now as well. We have a few others. And also we got bounce back loan to help us to get to that MVP, because it's a moment where I personally would like to go more to impact investors rather than just go for any kind of money, because it's very big change for society, I would say, what we deliver here. And impact investors are key for us, people who have already businesses behind or are involved with businesses who are very similar to ours, where hardware and software are connected. Because majority of investors are in that tech space mainly, or software space mainly, where capex is a little bit lower at the beginning, much lower, and for them the risk is again lower, or it's quicker to get onto the market. So we are looking for investors who are really looking from different direction, which is, I understand what you're building here. It's going to help many people. I see that clearly. And actually, this is how I can help you with my own expertise. Yes, I'm bringing money in, but also I can help you with mentoring, leading, explaining, uncovering, or rather pointing at those blind spots that we have, because everyone have those. And helping us to really propel. So this is kind of investment that we're looking for. Plus grants, so research and innovation grants. So that's another level that we're looking for and applying for. Different accelerators who are supporting similar type of businesses as well.
Great.
Not only digital, but also hardware.
So I think it's very early to think about scaling and exiting for your product right now, because you need to have some social proof that your product is working well and adding continuous value to your market. So first of all, you need to go and survive around your idea, and then later on, maybe you are thinking of accelerators, and you may thinking of seed funding too, or crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So it would be better, I think, because the way you do is somewhat passionate, and there are lots of people like tribes that who are dealing with these problems, these pain points daily in their life. So they can invest also in those kind of products. So the product idea is very sound, and I think it will be the one of the futuristic products in the market, because we are going through an immersive experience age. So as you told us the product, I thought of the product as a multi-sensory experiencing the sounds, I don't know, the touch, maybe smell, why not? So this would be a bet. Maybe you will use a VR glass, and so you can go to Maldives in the corporate office. So this would be a good way of thinking of wellness. So by the way, UK is very eager to have wellness and mental well-being. So it's too early for you to scale, but you need to be more patient, and you will show your passion to us more.
Yeah.
It's a good point, Ansi. Scaling is one thing and exiting is another. I mean, I picked up on something you said there about proving it and establishing it. There's a couple of things different. The world is changing right now. A lot less people will be working in offices. Therefore, there's less offices to demand your products and services. We're not all going to have them at home. Some people will. The majority won't. So my two concerns are around people copying you. And if you've got some intellectual property, you can't have IP across all of it because there are so many elements, and I'm sure you can protect lots of it. But there will be someone who comes out with another version. And I'm sure there are products out there that people could realign to sort of become I wouldn't say a competitor, but an alternative to you. So that's always a danger. And they already have an established marketplace with significant investment behind them. But the other thing, so that be mindful of that. Scaling is one thing, but actually you need to establish a decent, head start in the market. And the other thing I'm concerned about, and we've seen this with other health-related physical products, I'm not talking about applications, that have a novelty effect, that after a period of time, the use drops quite significantly. And then eventually, they're moved out of the airport, they moved out of the office, and they're stuck out the back collecting dust because they just don't have the throughput. Now, if it's an airport, I guarantee absolutely an airport is purely and simply a shopping center that brings its customers in on a very long tube. That's all it is. And if you've got a piece of prime real estate, and it would have to be prime real estate because it's not a go-to purchase, people would want to sort of go past it and go, oh, you know what, I'm going to do that. They wouldn't get off the plane thinking, right, where is my Hangair pod? Where do I go? They won't. So you need prime real estate, and that prime real estate comes with a very high price tag. And if the product is not being used enough, they will just take it out. The other thing is, they're hardly likely any airport, and I lecture on to do with travel and transport in West London. Any airport is not likely to pay for it. You will pay a rental fee based on performance.
But this is not for, I think we misunderstood each other. It's not really for that kind of where pods are stored, so you go and pay and you kind of use the space, etc. This is for business lounges at the airports. And business lounges always want to improve the experience of people who are in first class. So it's very specific at the airport. It's not just like we're going to put it wherever. Okay. We thought about it thoroughly. We went through so many different understanding and talking with people and customer experience at the airports as well, departments, to understand exactly what's the thinking of that persona who's going through the airport. So don't forget, we've been 3 years into this.
Yeah, sure.
Now, just going thoroughly through it. So I totally understand what you're getting, and totally valid questions to be concerned about. In terms of exit strategy and IPO, it's something that I totally understand that we are too early, and it's nothing to do with where we are right now. It's all more about me understanding steps later on. I like to be prepared personally. I like to see these things. I am not putting so much attention to it right now in terms of I have much more important things to do, obviously, as you pointed, rightly so. But the key is just to have that somewhere in mind and understand what are the best scenarios, because there are moments in the day that I have time to think about these things as well. And I like to think about them. I don't want to be found in the moment, which is going to be amazing, just to be there and just like, oh, okay, well, now it's time to think about it. I didn't. So yeah, it's process, and I just love asking questions and understanding. So you never know when that is going to be needed.
But how do you scale against the perceived competitor threat, or is it not a competitor threat, the alternative offering?
So we again, it's shame I can't show you the product, so you would understand it straight away. So if I tell you that this is something that when you get into it, you feel instant feeling is relief of your back pain. Instant feeling is, oh my God, and there is nothing out there around you, in your house, at place at work, when you're traveling, that actually can do that in that way, because there is a feeling that you get. There's a relief that you physically get from it. This is something that you can't get from all of these. You can in different way, but it doesn't target what we target, which is back pain straight away, relief from back pain or immediately. And then other elements again, which are going to help you to fall asleep much faster with anything else out there, because of combination of stimulants on both body and mind in the same time.
Would you like to consider your product as for personal use at home?
Yeah, that was
because COVID makes us very suspicious about common areas. We didn't use, we cannot use anything common in the spaces. So maybe it's not the right time to go for a commercial. Maybe for the hygienic environment it could be, but what about personal use? Because some patients are very some illnesses are very pain related, arthritis for example, and so much like that. So
no, great question, and funny that you asked that, because that was our first initial strategy, to go to households. And again, we have very strong network of influencers, thanks to our background. So connections are there, and they're willing to help to do their own, obviously, trial, and then help us to get the brand name out much faster. Because of COVID and everything that was going on, we actually changed that strategy. And that's why we actually started raising money. So there are two things to understand about us. To finalize and have MVP, it will take 7 months from now. It's a process. To get COVID sorted, obviously, vaccine is under development, and there are always some news coming out in terms of what can help with COVID patients, etc. And also us being in open spaces and trying something that someone else was there before us. So So I would say the good thing for us and good news for us is that we still have some time for the launch of MVP, and COVID is right now. I don't believe that COVID will be there forever. It's current situation that will pass, like anything else. We will find solution for it, and we are actually going in the line with that, with our development. So it's a right time for us to think about those things. You're right about businesses that many are now cutting their space, office space, and cutting on costs and keeping workforce to work from home with obvious reasons. Now, households are still priority list, but in phase 2 for us, because our expertise and our contacts are in B2B immediately. And obviously that gives you much bigger volume straight away. From one client, you get 500 units, and we got pre-order for 505 with aim to increase the order. So it's one customer. Whereas with households, you need to do much more marketing spend. You need to do much more work in order to influence, in order to push your brand out, and in order to sell 100 units. So you're selling to 100 people, not just one person or one company. So for those reasons, we decided to actually twist everything and go back to B2B. And households are obvious choice for us as well, and especially America because of the size of it, and they comparing to size of living space. American living space is bigger than European living space, and for that reason, and for our again contacts and expertise, we have America as a priority market for us. But thinking about ergonomics at home, not many businesses have proper set, or rather homes have proper working environment for many employees. So we see that mental health is, problems are actually going through the roof during this lockdown. We see that lots of people increase of back pain is again going also through the roof because we don't have those ergonomic chairs at home. And businesses will have to invest into their people wellness and working environment at home if they want to keep them to work from home.
Yeah, that's a temporary thing. The health and safety people in this world have kind of turned a blind eye to people sitting in their kitchen table using the standard chairs, which breaks every rule in the book, and they kind of turn a blind eye to it. But companies will get to the point where they go, okay, we'll give everyone like Google did. We'll give everyone an allowance of £1,000. Go out and buy the furniture you need. Just send us the bills, we'll pay it.
Yeah.
And so that will happen. So yeah, absolutely. Those problems are temporary, but we're still not going to get to a point where, as you say, everyone's going to have enough space in their house to have one of these in the corner. Because having never seen it, I suspect it's not a small piece of furniture, and I suspect also that you can make it look aesthetically, quite appealing, but it's still going to be a big lump of furniture in that respect, right? So then, one of the world's largest insurance companies recently announced that they expect between only a third and half of their staff to ever return to the office. So based on that, as a general rule of thumb, your marketplace for selling this into business is just reduced by 50% anyway. But I suspect it's sufficiently scalable that that's not a problem, right? It's the volumes are still there.
Yeah.
So do you get to a point then where you almost have two classes of citizens in an employment contract? Those who get into the office get all the cool stuff and the ergonomic chairs and and those are stuck at home. Sorry, just not sure what we can do for you. How do you, is that just how it will be, or have you got a solution for rebalancing that for workers?
So the first product is that product that I just described, which is for, it's a bigger piece of furniture, let's say, that you will have to put in some place dedicated to that. But also we are looking already for slightly different design, which is going to be more compact and smaller footprint, where people, most of us actually, will be able to put in our 2-bedroom flat, London-sized 2-bedroom flat. So this is something that we are already talking with our designer how to do it. We already had, I mean, I don't know how many variations of design we had to date, but there are so many. Some of them we discard because of that public space and that sort of feeling of security, and you don't want to be seen that you're napping or you are resting or you're meditating or whatever. So we changed a few designs, and but there is one that is still there. It's very compact and very easy to fit and put in smaller houses that we will definitely use for later. So as I said, it's been a process of so many developments so far. The thing is that we can't go to every market straight away. We have to choose the right ones for us, where we have people in those businesses who can help us and buy for these businesses. So that's where we are focusing now. Who we have in our networks who can actually help us to get through faster. Okay. And then we open up.
So growth is all about networking.
In our case, fully, yes. Okay. We are, I guess, lucky to have great network of people. Yeah. So, yeah.
Ah, the boss is back.
Oh yes, hello.
I thought that was a productive conversation. Thank you all. So we are at the 40-minute mark. If you have any final closing comments, I'll pass it over to you again for that briefly. But from what I observed and my role, bear in mind that my role in these conversations is not as a consultant, but I also worked as a consultant. So I have this reflex, unstoppable urge, you might call it, about thinking critically about the business. And maybe it comes from being a founder and having failed a couple of times. Maybe that has to do with that. I don't know. But something that I have to add to that conversation is I now think the startup world in 3 different phases. And I even have it up on my board. Maybe I'll take a picture of that. The first one is the classic, right? It's the market research, business plan, build end product, launch, promote model. If you're building a nuclear power plant or a large oil gas thing, then that works. That is how long you have to plan. But the second model is the lean and the agile model, in which is like market, and I'm literally reading now from my board: market research, pitch deck, build the MVP, get users and feedback in an iterative cycle, and then once you find the perfect lock in that product market fit, then scale with marketing and funding, which most of the funding money goes to marketing in that sense. But now I think there's a third layer, a third way of doing this, actually, and it is what I call the post-lean. I'm not sure it's the best wording for that, but like bear it with the timing, post-lean, the post-lean structure, and many companies are using these nowadays, and successfully, I might add. Start again with market research, then build an audience. No product, no scaling effort, but build an audience, usually with content marketing and usually with actually with conversations like these, like, look, this is what we're about, this is what we care about, this is what we're building, this is why we think it might be useful. Are you one of those people this would be useful for? If so, how would you use it, etc. And then in conversation with those people, not being married to the product itself, but to the solution, to the problem indeed, then nurture that audience into a community. And then once you have a community, produce a product that you know that they will buy. So just my 2 cents. I mean, as part of this conversation, I think it is, Mirjana, up to you to decide where the business falls. It's just my sense that there are some assumptions which might be dangerous in terms of you spending a lot of your time and effort and financial resources, and it would be just nice to double check and thinking where it would fit within these 2 or 3 models. So that's my 2 cents, as I said.
Yes.
Ansi, thank you very much. John, thank you very much. If you have any closing remarks, just very briefly, I'd love to hear them, and then we can wrap up this session.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ozan, because this is why I asked Mirjana before that you need to have a tribe, because there are lots of people thinking of wellness, their mental health, and they do meditation, some sort of thing, and including the companies, because the companies are responsible for the improductivity of the person because of the mental stress. So, so this is the area where you grow, and you need to have some content, and you have huge experience around marketing. So you can build your brand first to create some attention, create awareness, and then later on you will go with the MVP into the market and get their feedback just for the strategy, just for the tactic.
That's exactly what we're doing in the background. You will see in 2 weeks' time a big launch coming out. So,
by the way, please let us know about the big launch, and we'll share it on Startups of London's channels. We'd love to do that.
Yeah. I'll get on the app and make a booking. Just closing comments from me, Ozzy. I think there's two things. Absolutely, Ansi's right. Branding, building a very strong, powerful brand is key. Somebody who's quite well known in some of these things said you don't have to be the best, just the best known. And I'm not saying you're not the best, but I do think branding is absolutely vital. My concern, and this will be reflected back in what you wrap around the hardware, my concern is stickiness. I just wonder how sticky this will be in the long term. That's a concern I have.
I don't have that concern at all. Again, it's totally right. So before you see it and understand really what it is. So now I'm totally conscious that we are talking about something that no one actually see. And the key is an aha moment comes from everyone once you see it.
Okay.
So I'm not concerned at all about that. So we've been through it. We always have these questions, and whenever we show it, answer is there.
Okay.
Thank you. I really enjoy this. Thank you so much. And it's always great to check the lights if they're all on.
Thank you all for
you.
coming and dedicating your valuable time to this. And thank you to all those viewers and our audience who has turned their attention to this broadcast. As I say, what I can say as we wrap up is that if you like this content and found that valuable, make sure to share that and show the YouTube algorithm. That is the barrier between us human beings now in terms of that signal to noise ratio. So give that signal that this is valuable by sharing this. Thank you very much. We have a new episode coming up next week, 12 p.m. So we are trying to make this into a regular happening. Hope we'll be able to do that. So next week, Tuesday, 12 p.m., tell your friends and family and your business contacts that there is a live streamed consulting in town, which is fantastically useful for everyone else. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The stream has been ended.